so far we have chatted area and perimeter of triangles and quadrilaterals. We talked a little bit yesterday about circumference and area of circles. Now today is the big blend. So we're probably, unless you're a shape expert, going to want to be able to go back and forth with some of our formulas here at the start until we get into a groove here. So, for instance, let's just say, let's imagine, warm weather and nice things. We're looking at this and like, hey, look, it's my yard, and I have this trapezoidal pool in it because I'm a math teacher and I think of weird things like that. So, all we're going to have to do in an area like this is figure out what's that piece? So think about how you'd find the area of the shaded region below. So we'd have to take the entire region, which would be that rectangle, okay, the whole thing, minus region B, which would be our trapezoid. And that would give us region A, which is the shaded area, which is what I'm trying to figure out. So biggest minus the smallest gets us what's in between. And so we're going to do a lot of things today where we're going to subtract to find that middle piece. But this is the part I really have to stress. And it's hard to do this today when we're so used to everything being instant. When you're looking at a problem like this, we got to make a plan before we jump in, unless we want to do it 2 or 3 or 4 times. We don't want to do all that. We want to be one and done. And so when we're looking at number 1, I'm going to put every one of these into like words before we start jumping into math of things. So if we're looking for the shaded region, if I kind of refer back to this, you're like, okay, so I need to figure out and not cover up my numbers. So here, my entire shape would be finding the area of a rectangle. And then to get the shaded area, I need to remove the area of the triangle. Now the question's going to be, are we going to need to go back and look at the formulas, or do we have this? Let's see. So how do I find the area of a rectangle? Length times width, or base times height, however you want to look at that. So for my rectangle, my length would be 27. My width would be 14. So we got that piece. What about the area of a triangle? If I go back, take myself a quick peek on page 1 if I need to. Base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 base times height. So base times height divided by 2. So my base is 27. My height is 8. And we're going to divide that by 2. And so I am a fan, I think I've mentioned this a time or two before, that I like to do my parts separately and then go back and do it, because there's less likelihood I'm going to do something silly. And you've seen me do silly stuff enough times that, it's not even a question of if, it's going to be when. So if I do those separate, I should be able to keep myself out of trouble. There's still some places I can get myself in trouble if I'm not careful, but for the most part, if I just play that through, it shouldn't be too bad. I can tell some of you are going to get ahead of me, and I'm going to be like, all right, ooh, so, okay, so what's my big shape to deal with in number 2? Rectangle. All right, so we already got that formula up above. We don't need to write out a formula again for that. And now, even though I see my length down here, even though my width isn't on the edge, I know that it's 16 because, well, it goes as long as that does. I mean, I could write it again over here if I felt I needed it. So if I do that part, I'm good there. Okay. Now this is an interesting how we take this next strategy on. So if I could physically pick this up, I swear I wish I had a mini Post-it, and put it over here, I'd have a circle, right? It'd be like, if I could pick that up. So I could do 2 half circles, but again, I don't want to do more work. I want to do less. So let's see. How do I find the area of a circle again? Pi times radius squared. So we got pi. Ooh. What's my radius? 8. How'd you figure that out? Yeah. If this whole thing is 16, that's going to be cut in half in the middle here, so each of them have to be 8. So my radius is going to be 8. Perfect. So let's see here. Remember, pi is second, and our little up arrow, our caret here, if you just use 3.14, that's okay too, if you don't happen to remember that at some point. So let's see, 201 point, I don't know, I'll go to 2 decimal points, that's okay. Even if you went to 1 to a 1.1, it'd be fine. Even if you'd have rounded and got to 296.4, that's all good. So there can be some twists that get thrown in. That was a little weird. Okay, going with the half a circle there instead. Oh, we're going to have to deal with half a circle here in a bit. That's all right. Got this. But as long as we stay with that consistent theme of, hey, big shape, minus, ooh, little shape, okay. Might have to go back and look at some things on the trapezoid here. So we've got our circle area. So we know it's this, but again, that interesting little radius game thing here again. What's our radius going to be this time?
6.
6. Because here's my diameter. My diameter goes all the way across as 12, and your radius is just going to be half of that. Or we can just say it kind of gets cut in half here. So, all right. So we got our circle. Let's get that calculated up here. So pi r squared. We'll go to tenths now. That's just going to be easier. So we'll go to 113.1. Oh boy. Trapezoid might need help here. So trapezoid, we're going to add the bases and multiply times the height, then divide by 2. Okay, we're going to write that down here. We're going to add the bases times the height divided by 2, so we don't have to keep flipping back and forth here. So let's see. So my height of my trapezoid is 6. My 2 bases Doesn't hurt to label things. Add those up. So, let's see. I think if I type that in just like that, we're going to be okay. Let's test it out though. I'll be the tester. Yep, we're okay. All right. Not bad. Bad, not bad, not bad. All right. So we saved the weirdest one for last. Figures. All right. Big shape. Minus. Now this time we're not going to avoid dealing with half a circle, a semicircle. Not going to be anything terrible, though. Okay, so our triangle, we've got base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 base times height. So again, here's my base and my height. They're always going to make that right angle down here. So base times height divided by 2. This time you, do you need, I don't think you do need the parentheses, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to play it safe. And then my circle, we know is pi r squared, but since we only want half of it, we're going to divide by 2. So pi, what's my r this time?
4.
4, nice. So let's see here. Pi r squared divided by 2. 25.1. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Get those knocked out. So basically with this, as long as I can remember my area formulas, or flip back to one of the prior pages to get those, the shaded part shouldn't be bad. So I got 2 things to say here as we start looking towards the practice here with stuff. So I do this every once in a while because, you know, sometimes things can get backed up a little bit when we're doing stuff, and I don't want that to happen to you. So on the area of shaded regions practice, 6 problems, just this side, page 5, okay? Purposefully done today because I still have some of you that need to finish, maybe you started but didn't finish, that McDonald's little activity that we did before, you know, and didn't have some points in there. Or maybe you had a little bit of this practice on one of the first couple of pages that we did that you need to jump in and finish or check. I've got the keys up here too, and work through those. I always want to make sure that as we head into good weeks, like next week with homecoming week and all the Husky points and pass and stuff, and make sure we're going good, that things are going good. So I want to make sure that that is up to date, because next week, again at that quiz day, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to want the practice to make sure that we're on the right track with things. So make sure today